Join me as we trace the roots of Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jewish names and what they tell us about identity. You've probably heard those terms, Ashkenazi and Sephardic, but what do they really mean? Where do these names come from, and what can they reveal about Jewish history? Whether you have Jewish heritage or are simply curious, you'll find this story both enlightening and inspiring. So, let's begin. To understand the names, we first need to understand the people behind them. Over centuries, Jewish communities spread across the globe, and two major groups emerged, shaped by where they lived and the cultures that influenced them. Ashkenazi Jews primarily settled in Central and Eastern Europe, in regions like Germany, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, Hungary, and Lithuania. The word Ashkenazi comes from Ashkenaz, a medieval Hebrew term used to refer to Germanic lands. Sephardic Jews, on the other hand, lived in Spain and Portugal. Their name originates from Sepharad, a biblical term for Spain. In 1492, when Spain expelled its Jewish population, many Sephardic Jews fled to North Africa, the Ottoman Empire, and other parts of Europe, including Italy and the Netherlands. Over time, these two communities developed their own distinct cultures, traditions, and even languages. Ashkenazi Jews spoke Yiddish, a rich fusion of German and Hebrew. Meanwhile, Sephardic Jews spoke Ladino, which blended Spanish and Hebrew. Naturally, their names evolved along different paths too, shaped by geography, history, language, and survival. So where do Ashkenazi Jewish names come from? For much of Jewish history, people didn't use last names the way we do today. Instead, individuals were known by their given names and their parents' names, like Isaac, son of Jacob, or Sarah, daughter of Moses. However, during the 18th and 19th centuries, many European governments mandated that Jews adopt fixed surnames. That's when many of the names we recognize today began to appear. Some surnames were derived from biblical first names. For example, Abramson means son of Abram. Jacobitz comes from son of Jacob, and Davidoff means son of David. Other names reflected occupations. A name like Goldsmith indicated someone who worked with gold. Schneider is the German word for tailor, and shoemaker clearly described the trade. There were also names that came from geographic origins. Families might have adopted names like Berlin, Wiener from Vienna, or Frankfurter from Frankfurt, indicating the cities they once called home. Some names described physical or personality traits. Schwartz means black and could have referred to dark hair. Klein means small, and Weiss translates to white or light-skinned. Nature also played a role in surname creation. Rosenberg means Rose Mountain. Feldman is field man, and Blumenfeld translates to flower field. Finally, some names were simply invented or assigned by officials. Sometimes they were beautiful, like Silverstein. Other times, unfortunately, names were given with mocking or offensive intent. Sephardic names took a different path, influenced heavily by Spanish, Arabic, and Hebrew culture. Many were also based on biblical names. Like their Ashkenazi counterparts, Sephardic Jews used names such as David, Levi, and Cohen. Others reflected their Spanish and Portuguese surroundings. Families often took names from the regions where they lived. For instance, Navarro comes from Navarre in Spain, Cardoso from a town in Portugal, and Toledano from Toledo, Spain. Nature-based names were also common. Azulé comes from the Hebrew word for blue. Pinto means painted or spotted in Portuguese. Al-Bahari comes from Arabic and means by the sea. Because many Sephardic Jews lived under Muslim rule, Arabic and Muslim influence appeared in many names. Al-Haddad means weaver in Arabic, and Mizrahi means Eastern in Hebrew. During the Spanish Inquisition, when Jews were forced to convert to Christianity, many adopted Catholic surnames. Some later returned to Judaism, but kept those names. For example, Pereira, which means pear tree, became a common Sephardic surname with hidden origins. In times of danger, especially during pogroms or persecution, many Jews altered their names for survival. A name like Rabinowitz might become Robbins after immigration to the United States or England. And in the 20th century, especially during the Holocaust, many Jews changed or hid their names in order to escape Nazi persecution, choosing more neutral or local-sounding surnames to avoid detection. So, why does all this matter? Because Jewish names aren't just labels. They are living links to the past. Each name tells a story of where a family came from, what they did, what language they spoke, and what kind of life they lived. For anyone tracing their ancestry, Jewish surnames can be a goldmine of clues, leading back to specific countries, regions, and sometimes even individual towns. But more importantly, these names remind us of the journeys, the resilience, and the cultural richness of the Jewish people. They are markers of survival and identity that span centuries. If you carry a Jewish last name, or know someone who does, take a moment to reflect on its meaning. Behind every name, there's likely a powerful, rich story waiting to be uncovered. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey meaningful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more thoughtful content, and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts or hear the stories behind your family's name. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep learning from the past as we move forward together. God bless.